Hello you, I'm Ed. Welcome back to Real Thrills, your home of films and theme parks. And in today's video, I'm going to be giving you a planning trip for how to go to Orlando, like what's the best options and what's the cheapest. Because it's quite hard to navigate really what the best options are, where to stay, what to do, depending on what you're doing, obviously, in Orlando. But this is going to be related to the theme parks section, to theme parks really, rather than the Florida Keys or Gatorland or anything like that. Or what's it called? The Drive, International Drive. It won't be about those things on this video. It will be about tips and tricks in obviously the theme parks related stuff. So one crucial thing to think about when you're booking this trip, because it's a big financial spend and it's very expensive and you don't want to spend too much like quickly. You want to find the best deals. Now, usually it's best to book a year in advance. However, if you want to really desperately go out there just because, maybe 4 months. It depends, but flight prices always fluctuate. But what I would really recommend is looking at package holidays deals. They are some of the best you can get, and it's what I've done before actually, and it was really helpful and useful because they basically do it all for you. The company that you book through, they'll book you the hotel, they'll book you the flights, and whatever money you're working with, they'll do it to your price range, which I think is absolutely fantastic. And it takes a lot of stress off of you as a person as well, because booking a holiday like this can be stressful. But if you're not going to do a holiday package, how would you do it? That is a good question, and I feel like a lot of people would be asking that. And for me personally, I would look at flights first. How much would it cost to go to Universal, or how much would it cost to go to Orlando, Florida International? And then look at it that way. And then you've also got to take into consideration, obviously, your travel, right? When you get to the airport, how are you going to get to your hotel? Now, most of the time, hotels will offer you the transport from the airport to the hotel, which is fantastic. But not every one of them does it. So you have to keep that in mind. But you'd have to book an Uber or a taxi. Now, with Ubers, sometimes they're okay, but a lot of the time they just aren't reliable because sometimes drivers just cancel, or it's not even the driver you think it's going to be, which is what happened in our experience before in September for me and Jordan. So it's very difficult. But picking the hotel, then let's look at that rather than thinking about make sure though, as a crucial element, you have the right you have travel that can get you to and from the hotel, from leaving and returning from the airport to the hotel. Now, we're picking a hotel. It depends what you're doing and what theme parks you're going for. If you're going for a bit of Universal and Disney, I would recommend a hotel that's in between both, as then you'll be able to get a good travel distance because there's good reliable transport to get from both. You don't want to have to rely on Ubers like we did in September, because Ubers are expensive and it becomes very expensive. But if a person's willing to drive, a hire car is always worth a go. However, you've got to bear in mind you've got to pay for parking as well, and that's not cheap in theme parks. But what I would really recommend, and this is from my personal experience and everything, is staying on Disney actually. Or you could do a bit of both, but we'll get to that in a second. But staying on Disney was really beneficial for me for the time I've done it. I stayed at Caribbean Beach, and it was really good because we had free shuttle buses and free buses, because Disney are great with the travel to get to their parks. But I had free bus services to get to the main Disney parks, and that's the 4 main Disney parks covered, and the water parks as well, and Disney Springs, and that's all included in the price. Now that's really worth that, because it saves on you spending like $250 in 2 weeks on an Uber every time there and back. So that's covered. But then you come to the issue of Universal, obviously, if you want to go to Universal. And when some people want to go to Universal, what I would recommend actually, now I look at it, I've never done it myself, but you go from a Disney hotel for a week, you do the Disney parks first, or Universal or whatever, and then you go to a Universal hotel, which is when you get all the travel included and stuff for the Universal parks, which I think is great vice versa. So maybe That is probably what I would recommend. You go to a Disney hotel and then you go to a Universal hotel to make it more beneficial, but it's more expensive that way. So sometimes it's easy to just what you think and sum up would be more financially beneficial, because honestly, going from a Disney hotel and then going straight to Universal, obviously the hotels are closer to the Disney parks and they're not as close to Universal, but knocked it on the head. I was like, it's all right. The travel is worth it. And I didn't really go to Universal that much, really. Like I like Universal. I like Islands of Adventure, but I just prefer Disney. And like, I just noticed that. And yeah, that's basically for travel wise. That's one of the important things. I'd recommend booking within the company themselves. So Universal, staying at Universal Hotel. Don't book at the cheapest hotel because it's cheap, because sometimes the cheapest option isn't always the best. And where we stayed in September, it was a non-Universal and Disney hotel. It was a great hotel and it was close to the parks, which is fantastic. However, the shuttle buses they offered, they weren't really shuttle buses as such, operated at weird times, out of park hours, and were unreliable and hardly would show up. So you've always, traveling to the parks is also crucial, and if you can't afford and you don't drive, then I would really recommend staying on Disney or Universal, because it will save you a lot of money. And another big thing is buying food out in the parks, and in general, where'd you go, because it's a lot of fast food. And I'd recommend, what really worked for us actually in September was doing some shopping at Target or Walmart, and just getting that for your lunches, because it's really cheap actually. Like, Lunchables are great, and I think that's really beneficial in the long run actually, because Disney are really expensive for their snacks. You could do it here and there, but I'd really recommend just getting some shopping and some lunch bits. Even if you can cook in your hotel room, get some dinner bits and stuff and save your money, because the Disney restaurants, it's nice every now and again, but the Universal and Disney restaurants are so expensive. And we've had that from personal experience from doing the Lady and the Tramp one. The Lady and the Tramp one was about $90. And for one night out and for one dinner, that was really expensive. Yeah, it was lovely and the staff were amazing and everything, but it's so expensive. So to save money, I'd recommend doing that. When it comes to buying merch, buy what you think is beneficial, because it's all basically, it's all down to opinions with that one. It's up to you really as a person. What would you like to buy more merch, bring it back for your family and friends, or are you not interested in the obviously the exclusive merch? I don't know if all of it's exclusive, but exclusive merch to the parks. But let's be real, you could probably buy it off the internet anyway in some of these stores, and I'd say get some memorabilia that feels important to you, but merch isn't really that much of an issue. It's just you've got to watch out for that tax, the hidden tax, when the tax actually finally comes on and you're like, oh shit, it's quite expensive. So bear that in mind as well. And another important part about the trip is, I say give everything a go. If you're not comfortable with roller coasters, that's okay, but Disney ease you into the roller coasters and stuff. So I'd say give a little go to all the different types of rides they have. And you never know, you might find some rides you absolutely adore and you never thought you would. And that's something I found, because I was never really... Back a few years ago, I wasn't a massive roller coaster guy, but here I am now, thanks to America and the Walt Disney parks and the Universal parks. I'm now into roller coasters a lot more than I ever was before, and it's made me try some epic roller coasters in the UK since then. So always give those a try as well, but also do some character meet and greets if it's your first time, because it's so awesome to just meet the characters, and there's so many amazing actors, and they do such a great job, and it's just a great time. They even sign your book if you got a signing book as well, so I'd really recommend it. And just see the shows and the fireworks as well, and just soak in the atmosphere and just enjoy it, really. It's a great and an amazing time. And those are my top tips for going to Orlando, Florida. I hope you enjoyed and learnt some things, and if you have any top tips for anyone else, let them down in the comments below, or if there's anything I missed. put it down in the comments. I'm sure there are a lot of people that appreciate these top tips. But yes, guys, thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow for the real reactions to the backrooms. See you later.
Real thrills.